come all the way tonight from Fayetteville, Arkansas. You guys make it feel welcome. Adam Kessler!
For all the comedians you've seen. I'm glad everybody's out again. I hated the pandemic. Did you guys hate the pandemic? I hate it. That's the only thing in 2023 that you can say out loud that you hate, and nobody in the back's gonna go, "Shut up, buddy, I voted for COVID." Like nobody loved the pandemic. Everybody hated it. I hated it. I'm glad I'm seeing everybody's face. No more masks. Well, a mask or two every once in a while for the weirdos, but the majority of faces uncovered. I hated the mask for one reason, and that reason is that a lot of people didn't know how to wear it. They didn't know they were supposed to go over your mouth and your nose. And I went into Walmart once, and I saw somebody with the mask so far down I could see their nose and their top lip and their mustache. This lady was messed up, and cut it off already. It's a little early. I hated the pandemic because I had to spend 2 years in my house with my wife and 3 kids, and that's not who I picked. That's not who I picked. Like every time you would hypothetically play that game where you go, what if you had to stay in your house with 4 people? Who would you pick? Not them. Not them. Anybody but them. I love them, but 24 hours a day love? No thanks. No thanks. It's too much. It's too much. I love them like 4 to 6 hours a day, otherwise leave me alone. I'm trying to watch some shows here. I did watch a lot of shows during the pandemic. I finished Netflix. Anybody else finish? I finished Netflix. All the way through it. A thing comes up at the end. Are you still watching? I'm like, have you added more stuff? Come on, let's keep it going. It got so bad for me during the pandemic, I started watching Hulu. That's no good. So Hulu has commercials. It's not good. I started watching those murder shows, because that's all that Netflix is now, is like murder shows or comedy specials. And so if I never make it on a comedy special, I'll try and die in some mysterious way so that I make it on. I started watching, they did a reboot of the Unsolved Mysteries, and it's changed my life. Unsolved Mysteries. I don't know if you guys watched it, but it was all the unsolved cases from the 1970s and 1980s, and they're unsolved. That's how I watch season after season of a show that has no resolution at the end of the episode. It's changed my life. Now if I come to a movie, I watch 40 minutes and I leave. I let my brain just figure it out. Just whatever you want the end to be, that's what the end is. If they couldn't find Pamela Johnson's murderer and your noodle has to do all the homework and try and figure out who it was, that's good enough for the Black Panther movie or whatever. I don't know what happened to Wakanda, but up here I can just make it whatever I want. Whatever I want. I get in a fight with my wife, I leave 40 minutes in. Just let my brain do the work. She's like, where did you go? I'm at the store. How did it end? Never mind, don't tell me. Don't tell me. It's changed my life. But I love it. The 1970s and 1980s, Unsolved Mysteries, what it is, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's all the crime, because I don't know if you know this, police didn't solve anything in the 1970s and 1980s. If you weren't in the room killing, I don't know if that's how you kill, but if you weren't in the room when the police got there, you got away scot-free forever. Until 40 years later, they found one of your hairs in the bathtub. And they're like, we got him. We knew it was the neighbor. We thought it was him. You know, and then they're like, he's going away for life. He's 90 years old now. 6 months. It's my manager peeling out to my next game without me. Fantastic. I'm I'm kind of mad. Like somebody earlier brought up Amber Alerts, and that system has kind of ruined my life. I don't know if you guys get. Do you guys get Amber Alerts? Yeah. Does it ruin your day? Like I have 4 active phone lines in my house because 2 of my kids have phones, and I have a phone, or my wife has a phone. So when we get an Amber Alert, it's a big deal. The part that bothers me is they'll send this Amber Alert about a missing kid, and then they never. Who is it that's sending the Amber Alerts? It's not the police, right? They're too busy killing minorities, right? But, so I know it's not them. It sounds like a police thing to do. Hey, somebody's missing, go find. No, it's not the police, I guarantee it's not. But here's the part that bothers me. They send you an Amber Alert, Joey's missing, right? And you go, oh my gosh, Joey's missing, right? And they never send a follow-up text.
Right.
They can't go, we found him. They can't send a text, a couple hours later, we found him, he was playing hide and seek. We had no idea. We never checked the spare room closet. We didn't know. They never, imagine if that was your family and one of your relatives texts you, we can't find our son. Like, you'd be like, what? What? And then they just never, they ghost you after that? They just never text you until 3 weeks later you see him at a family get-together and they're with Joey? Like, what are you doing? You can't send a text? You ever get a silver alert? One of those, an old person's gone missing? They send a silver alert. They never send a follow-up on those either, by the way. They never send a, we found them, they were dead. Like, they never follow that up either. There's a best case scenario, by the way. That guy lived his last 72 hours on his terms. We found him in the fountain outside the Bellagio in Vegas. That guy went out the way he wanted to. You guys ever see a bumper sticker on somebody's car that says something like, have you eaten today? Hug a farmer. You ever see this? Any farmers in here? You want people hugging you all day long? I get the sentiment behind it, but like I'm not gonna hug everyone who had anything to do with my day. Like, I'm not hugging a farmer for my food. Like, I'm wearing tennis shoes. I'm not hugging some little kid in a sweatshop. Like, you know what I mean? I have things to do. I can't hug everyone. The benefit of my day. You know what else I see on cars? Because I drive around a lot for comedy and whatever, and like I see people with a license plate, like if they have a license plate frame, but they're an alumni for some college, right? That's only a good advertisement for that college if it's not a crappy car. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to go to Dodge Stratus College. Toyota Yaris University. Like, that's not good for that school. like, I understand you're proud you went there, but I have one on my car that says Harvard alumni. I didn't go to Harvard because that cost like $40,000 a year. The license plate frame was $16. And I think that license plate frame on my car proves that I'm smart enough to go to Harvard. And that's conceded me. So I did come over from Fayetteville, Arkansas. I'm from Washington State. You guys ever hear of it? That's where I'm from. But Walmart's big everywhere. Walmart's big in Washington. Walmart's big in Fayetteville. And on my way here, I got passed by a Walmart semi-truck on the road. And it has their slogan on the side of the truck. It says, save money, live better. Anybody here ever been to Walmart? Look like anybody in there is saving money or living better? This is better? What was life like before you wore the tuxedo shirt tucked into the sweatpants? What was life like? One shoe, fantastic, all right. But I love that slogan, save money, live better. I think we could put it on the Statue of Liberty. I think people would flock to the country. Save money, live better, let's go there. Right, so simple. And then Walmart can have the one that's on the Statue of Liberty that says, bring us your tired, your poor, huddled mass. Like, whatever. But yeah, I did. I moved over to Arkansas from Washington, and it's a bit different. It's a bit different out this way. You know what I mean? This is only my second time in Oklahoma, so thanks for letting me come in, even though I didn't have a gun. Very nice of you. I mean, this is a gun state. Do you guys love guns here? Clap it up. I'll be leaving right after the show now. Very scared of guns, but whatever. They're a thing. You guys, like, never mind. I'm not gonna talk about it. I don't want to start a riot here. I'll just tell cute jokes. I started going to retirement communities and telling jokes. And if you ever go to a retirement community, they're the best like group of people, because I'll go there and they'll say, do clean comedy, right? Don't offend the people, don't get political, all this. And I go and I do my cute, clean little show, and then afterwards, the residents of the retirement community come up and tell me the dirtiest jokes I've ever heard in my life. And that's the only way you ever want to hear a dirty joke ever again. It's from the 94-year-old lady in the wheelchair with the respirator who has to take a hit of the oxygen before she tells you the punchline. It's the best ones. I went to one, it was all assisted living, so they all had walkers and wheelchairs, and they fill up the room, about 60 people in there. And I start doing the show, and there's this big, beautiful grand piano, and the piano had a sign on it, and it said, "Residents, please do not move this piano." I was like, me and my brother can't move this piano. What are you doing? You guys worried about this? I can just picture him in the lunchroom going, "Hey, Margaret, nobody's looking. Now's our chance. Want to move that grand piano?" But I'll go and they'll tell me these amazing stories and funny jokes at the retirement community. This one lady, she came up and she was doing all these one-liner jokes, and she said, my favorite one, she goes, there's a wife giraffe, this female giraffe, and she's at home with dinner getting cold. And the husband giraffe comes in, sets down his briefcase. He says, "Sorry I'm late, honey. I hit every light on my way home." That joke's probably 100 years old. I don't know. Maybe she wrote it. I don't know. But there was one lady, because I was talking about my wife during the show, and this one lady was with her husband at the retirement community, and they'd been married for over 50 years, and so they sat me down and started telling me stories. And the wife said, "I want to tell you about the time I sent my husband to apply for Social Security benefits." I said, "All right." And she said, he leaves to go and apply for Social Security, and he comes back an hour later, but he didn't take his paperwork with him. But he comes back an hour later and said, "I got approved for Social Security." And his wife said, "What do you mean you got approved? You left all your paperwork at home." He said, "Yeah, I realized that I forgot it all, so I just walked in there and I unbuttoned my shirt and showed the lady my gray chest hair, and she approved me for Social Security." And his wife said, "Well, you should unzip your pants too. We could have got disability." I know some of you are still getting used to the sound of my voice. I know that it's a weird voice. I get it. I know. My wife says that I sound like Kermit the Frog when Ray Romano had a kid. So, got a little more laughter than I'm comfortable with. My voice is kind of weird. This is the kind of voice you want for comedy, though, but not for life. Like, you know, I'll go in drive-thrus and they'll go, "Anything else, ma'am?" I have my wife and my 3 kids in the car. They go, "Did they just say ma'am?" I go, "No, they said man." This is a manly order. Never had somebody order like that before. I had one guy after a show, he came up to me and he's talking about my voice. He goes, "Your voice isn't that weird. It just sounds like you need to clear your throat." The guy thinks I'm 46 years old. I've never went, Guess I'm one phlegm ball away from sounding like James Earl Jones. During the pandemic, I did realize though, 46, that's when I gotta like decide like what kind of old man I'm gonna be, right? Because like you have to be like the old man that's always like worried about the way his lawn looks, or like the old man who's always like restoring a classic car, and I'm not gonna be any of that. I'm gonna be the kind of old man that talks about how much better life used to be. You know what I mean? Like, because I remember McDonald's when I was a kid. Maybe over here it's more Chick-fil-A, right? But like, for me, McDonald's when I was a kid. It was way different than it is now. McDonald's used to have one drive-through window, one lane, and one speaker. Have you been lately? You ever been? 2 lanes? I have to merge at McDonald's. I have to put my blinker on at the McDonald's. You ever have somebody cut you off in the drive-thru? You go, I go. What are you doing? This is society. I went to one that had 3 drive-thru windows. 3 windows. And then somebody came up to my window with the iPad to take my order. You ever have them come up to your window with like an iPad to take your order? I don't have my pants on, I'm picking my nose. What are you doing? It's not right. But it was one of those things during the pandemic that made me realize, because I was like, oh man, because I started getting old people mail in my mailbox. You ever get stuff that's well beyond your years advertised to you in your mailbox? I get stuff from AARP. I think it's because I go to the retirement communities and tell jokes, so they put me on the list now. So I get stuff from AARP. I got an advertisement for a hearing aid. I got a coupon for Depends. Isn't that good to see in your mailbox? $2 off. I love that that's what they think is keeping me out of the market. Like I need the Depends. I'm just waiting on a deal. But then I got something in my mailbox that blew me away. It was a postcard, and it was an advertisement asking me if I want to prepay for my cremation services. You ever get this in your mailbox? Yeah. Prepay for my cremation. I'm 46. I'm going to prepay for my cremation. There's a website and a phone number, so I called the phone number because that's more fun. And the lady goes through her sales pitch, 5 minutes long, of why I should prepay for my cremation. And she gets done with her sales pitch, and she goes, do you have any questions? And I said, yeah, just one. What if I die in a fire? Are we talking about a refund, or you guys sweep up? What are we talking about? That's my time. Thank you guys for coming out and hanging out.